like it. Are you holding it?
Modern blood banking can be traced back to Charles Drew. He improved blood transfusion for people all over the world. Blood banking and blood transfusions changed medical history as we know it. Without this, many people would have died. Charles Drew was a black man. He was born June 3rd, 1904 in Washington, D.C. He was born into a family of 3 sisters and 1 brother, and they were kind of poor. For school, he attended elementary school and then went to Dunbar High School at 14. There were only 2 options for black children in America at this time, and Dunbar was one of them, and he got accepted into it. While he was in high school, he excelled in sports, and he got a scholarship to Amherst College. Here he graduated, and by the time he graduated, he already had plans to go to medical school, so he kind of knew what he wanted to do with his life pretty early. He attended a surgical residency in 1936, and during this time he also married and had 2 children. That's a picture of his family, and the picture over here is his school that he went to in high school. So his research with blood banking began with Dr. John Beatty when he was accepted at Columbia's Presbyterian Hospital. He was accepted there to study the storage and distribution of blood in 1939, and a year later he developed a way to separate and make stored blood last longer. He made it from 1 week of storage to 2 months of storage, which was really useful for replacing volume, and it helped with clotting, which was pretty much game-changing for war victims because at this time World War II was also going on. So after he discovered this, the US decided that they wanted to help out Britain because Hitler was bombing them. So he was awarded the Doctor of Science degree in 1940 and became the medical director of a project that delivered 10,000 units of plasma to soldiers over in Britain. While he was over there, the Red Cross enlisted him to start a business delivering blood in bloodmobiles. Bloodmobiles were basically just vehicles that carried blood around and delivered them to people who needed it. That whole project was very successful, and because of that, when he got back home, he became the director of the New York Blood Bank. He resigned from the Red Cross due to racial issues in 1942, and at age 39, he was awarded the first black on the American Board of Surgery. Unfortunately, his life ended 4 years later in a car crash when he was going to a meeting in Mississippi. So for people that don't know what blood banks or transfusions are, a blood bank is a place for long-time storage of blood, and a blood transfusion is taking blood and putting it into a living human to help them. It's given during surgeries, emergencies, car crashes, and when you have diseases. When you have a disease, it helps with infection because of the white blood cells in it, and white blood cells help fight infection, which was life-saving in the war. Charles Drew didn't get credit because simply he was a black man in the 1900s. Our country was very racist back then, and people didn't want to give credit to a black man when he did something so good. So as you can see, he was an unknown, influential man. He saved many lives, and medical history would not be where it is now without him. If you're ever in a life-threatening situation and need of blood, you can thank Charles Drew because he just saved your life.